We have case 2018-334, 2019-32, 2019-33, State of Arkansas versus John Downing. Mr. Downing, have you made application, or do you have an attorney representing you?
Not at this time.
What is your intention? Are you going to hire private counsel?
I'd like to.
All right. What's keeping you from it?
Cash only bond.
Mr. Cooper, you haven't had any contact with this individual?
No, Your Honor, we have not. Now, the information that we're getting is that he has hired James Wallace privately, and Mr. Wallace is on case number 18385 only.
334.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, 334.
Yes, I see that note. The day he was arraigned back on August 9th, it was noted he hired James Wallace. Have you not been in touch with Mr. Wallace?
He came by the jail yesterday.
Okay. So is he still your attorney?
On that one case, he is.
Okay. So you have an attorney in place on that case. Is that right?
Yes.
You've been arraigned on that case, and then you failed to appear in November, and an alias warrant was issued.
He told me that was recalled by the court.
Yes, I see it was. So what you're being held on then is you were arraigned on, or you have the outstanding warrants on these two new cases. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
2019-33. You have two cases here. 2019-32, where you're charged with theft of property, and then you have 2019-33, where you're charged with theft of property and obtaining signature by deception, both Class D felonies. In both these cases, you've not been before the court before. There's no indication that you've hired an attorney. Have you made any arrangements for an attorney? Would you be hiring Mr. Wallace again if you can make the arrangement with him?
Yes, sir.
But you didn't make it yesterday when you said you talked to him, or did you just?
No, he came by and told me he wasn't going to be in court today.
Mr. Wallace is detained with Mr. Carter today, Your Honor.
All right. In the trial in Marion County. Okay.
He asked me to ask you to change my bond.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to get. All right. In case 19-33. I'm uncertain why this is a cash-only bond. Can anybody enlighten me?
Your Honor, I think one time there was the FTA, and then also I believe based upon the nature of these crimes and the issues for the victims is what created the cash-only bond in this particular situation, Your Honor. This is for the state. It's the state. The state does not set bonds. But I do understand what took place in this one, Your Honor.
Mr. Downing, the record of the court reflects that in case 2019-32, where you're charged with theft of property, on those charges, how do you now plead?
Not guilty.
I'm noting your plea of not guilty. Case 2019-33, on that case, how do you now plead?
Not guilty.
Because there's no defense attorney involved at this point, I'm not going to immediately transfer it to Division 4, but I think that's probably what should be done, so that all of these, the other two cases are already on the Division 4 docket. I'm going to make the transfer just so we can keep it straight. Be transferred to Division 4. We'll enter an order transferring 2019-33 to Division 4. I'm noting pleas of not guilty in both of those cases. He's previously pled not guilty and hired Mr. Wallace in 2018-334. I don't see a scheduling order in 2018-334, but I'm going to go ahead and set a scheduling order in that case, setting the case down for trial during the week of July 15th, with a pretrial reappearance on April 18th, and then I'm going to enter the same scheduling order in 2019-33, so that all three cases are on the Division 4 docket, have trial set during the week of July 15th, and pretrial hearings on April 18th. At this time, the court is going to order that he'll also reappear on February 7th to try to get all issues worked out. I'm going to set, Mr. Downing, where do you live?
Here, Mountain Home,
Okay. How long have you lived in Mountain Home?
all my life.
Okay. Do you have, besides yourself, do you have family that you living with you? Or
Yes, I got a wife and 3 kids.
Okay. I'm going to set a bond in this matter. I'm going to set a bond of $15,000, cash or professional. In this matter, and order you to reappear on February 7th in this court. If you make that bond, it's your obligation to appear on February 7th. It's also your obligation between now and February 7th to get out and hire counsel. Get with Mr. Wallace and get him, you've already employed him for the first case, but you need to get him employed for each of the other cases too. If you always, I want you to understand, you have a constitutional right to an attorney, and if you discover in this process that you cannot afford to hire counsel, then you can seek to have appointed counsel. But because you've already hired counsel, any application for appointed counsel is going to get scrutinized pretty carefully. I will tell you that right now, because you were able to hire counsel to begin with. But I just don't want you to come back to court on February 7th without an attorney representing you, so that we can start moving forward on this case. All right?
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
Can the state request that Mr. Downing have no contact with the victims of these crimes, and that in addition he cannot engage in the activity that he was engaged in that has put us in the place that we are? And by that, Your Honor, he will not be engaged in the construction and roofing business that would create additional victims in this matter, Your Honor? I know it's an odd request, but that's what is facilitated while we're here in court today.
Well, if that's his means of employment, I mean, I understand why the state's asking that, but if that's the means of him being able to employ counsel, I definitely will make it a condition of the $15,000 bond that he not have any contact with the alleged victim. Is it the same victim in both 2019-32 and 33?
No, Your Honor.
So that's 2 different victims.
That's correct, Your Honor. And there's another case besides that, Your Honor.
Oh, really? Okay, I'm going to make that condition of the bond, that he not engage in this activity where at least until I'm able to assess the situation with his attorney on February 7th. So until then, it's a condition of the bond that he not engage in the, where was it?
Roofing and
The
construction.
high bridge roofing and construction business regarding roofing work. All right? That'll be the order of the court. That's the bond that's set, and it's conditioned upon what I just said.
All three
Yes,
cases?
sir.
The $15,000 covers all three cases. Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes?
On one of the cases, I've already posted a bond.
Okay. So, yeah, that bond, I don't know how much it was. I didn't look at that.
It was 5,000.
Okay, well, you have one $15,000 bond for all three cases, and you've already posted $5,000. If the bondsman will stay on that bond and accept the fact that he's already set you up for a $5,000 bond, then all the other the new bond will cover is the additional $10,000.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
2018-393, State of Arkansas versus Jolin Mandel. Ms. Mandel, you're appearing for a first appearance on a revocation petition. The revocation petition was filed against you on December 20th of 2018. It alleges that you, while on probation, violated the law in Izard County on a failure to appear felony, that you had failed to report to probation when you were released from incarceration, and avoided all contact. That was back in November and December of 2018. That you hadn't maintained the residence that you had reported would be your official residence. In December of 2018, you had failed to pay your supervision fees in December of 2018, and you were ordered to make payments to the sheriff's office, and no payments of any kind have been made. So all of those are the allegations contained in the petition. On those allegations, how do you now plead?
I've made payments.
Ma'am,
now.
we're not here to litigate the case. This is a first appearance. It's like an arraignment. Are you pleading true or not true?
Guilty. True.
Well, I'm not going to accept a plea of true at this point. Are you wanting to seek an attorney in the case?
I filled out an application for a public defender.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Judge, I interrupted you. We'll just enter a plea of not true for her.
Okay. Plea of not true is noted on the record. I'm going to set this matter down for February 7th. We'll take it up on February 7th. Hey, wait a minute. Let me check and see if this case is on Judge Putman's docket, not mine.
Is there any way I can get a bond, sir?
We'll take that up in a minute. Ma'am, this case is assigned to the Division III docket of Judge Putman. I've noted a plea of not true on your behalf and set it down for hearing in front of Judge Putman on February 14th. You had, as the connection broke, you were asking if you could have a bond set.
Yes, sir.
Let me check on this. The court will, does either side want to be heard on the issue of bond?
You know, the concern for the state, and speaking to my folks, Your Honor, is the fact that she failed to report. They treat her as an absconder, and that's our concern, Your Honor. If the court elects to give her a bond, we understand that, but that is our concern. The thing that is the greatest frustration to my folks in that department is come see us, and she's failed to do that, Your Honor, and be where you're supposed to be.
Ms. Mandel, it's this simple. You're on probation. That means
Yes,
you
sir.
have to show up at the probation office on a regular basis.
Yes,
Okay?
sir.
Failure to do so is a violation of the law, and that's really the reason you're here at this point.
Yes, sir.
So, I'm going to give you a bond, but I'm a little reluctant to do it because you failed to appear previously.
I understand.
You also failed to keep them informed of where you were living and make regular reports and pay fees and all of this. But what probation is already all about is you staying in touch with your probation officer. And your failure to do that is why you're in jail at this time. I'm setting the bond at $10,000, cash or professional bond, and ordering you as a condition of that bond to report to your probation officer within 24 hours of your release. Failure to do so will result in another warrant being issued, once you get back back in touch with your probation officer, then I'm ordering you to get back in full compliance with all the terms and conditions of your probation.
Yes, sir.
Your court date is set for February 14th in front of Judge Putman, and it is your obligation to show up with that.
Yes, sir.
If you're going to apply to the public defender's office, you need to get that done, and then get in touch with the public defender's office and get in to see them. So that's another obligation you have to show up. Okay?
Sir.
And failure to do that, once again, can result in a warrant being issued. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. You may be excused at this
Your Honor,
time.
May I say
Excuse me.
one thing before she's
Certainly.
released? Judge, if I'm reading her petition correctly, she owes $140 in supervision fees. Would the court, and I know you've ruled and I respect that, but would the court consider setting a cash bond of $140? And to me, that would be more appropriate. It goes to pay her fines and supervision fees, or some sort of a minimal cash bond so she can get out and it can be applied to her fines and cost. Because that's what's got her here and not reporting.
You know, the state's position is, you know, what got her here was the fact they couldn't find her and she failed to report. I mean, granted she owes some fees, we would not have filed this just on the fees. It was her failure to report when she was released from incarceration, and we didn't know where she was. And again, the state's not seeking some large bond. We just want to be very clear, this is a failure to report.
Yes. And that's the way I'm taking it, and why I set the bond where I did, is I want to make it point. Your point's well taken, that perhaps the money could be, that what money she can come up with would be better directed. Court will set a $500 cash bond, cash only. The same conditions apply, that she's obligated to immediately report to probation within 24 hours, get in touch with her probation officer. Apparently she has someone in the audience who was offering to provide receipts on her behalf. Those receipts can be brought to whatever hearing results from this to reduce the amount she owes on it. But what's important is that she owes the $500. That can be used as long as she complies with all the other terms and conditions to get her back in compliance with her probation. So the obligation is to report to the probation officer, to appear on February 14th in front of Judge Putman, and to get back in compliance with the requirements of probation. You may be
Yes, sir.
excused at this time.
Thank you.
(2016-200) State of Arkansas versus Jonathan Wolf. I have this down for hearing today. Is it for hearing?
Your Honor, it is not for hearing today. Your Honor, we were appointed last week by Judge Laser. The end result of him appearing, Judge Laser set a cash bond of $200. This gentleman has not been able to make that. And we talked yesterday, and he...
Mr. Wolf, you're saying?
Yes, Mr. Wolf.
Go ahead.
When we spoke yesterday, Your Honor, it's obviously our desire today to get him out of the jail. Again, I think this is a monetary issue. I don't think that, I believe this is this something that I believe the Sheriff's Office brought?
That's correct.
If he can get to, I asked him this question yesterday, Your Honor, if he can get back to North Little Rock where he lives, then within a very short period of time, he could pay the $200. But as long as he is in jail, he can pay nothing. Your Honor, I would propose that he be released and that within a period of 7 days of his release, that he would pay to the Sheriff's Office a sum of $200 and that he would begin paying the $100 a month after that date, each and every month.
There's some reference in here that this is a case to be disposed of on Division 3 docket, but the number would indicate to the contrary, and I just checked out the sentencing order, and he pled in front of this court. So there's no question that this case is on my docket, is there?
No, Your Honor, it's on your docket.
He's already entered a plea of not true in front of Judge Putman, who set it down for hearing in front of Judge, supposedly in front of me last week, but Judge Laser was here substituting for me. So what are you proposing in terms of bond?
You know, I am proposing that the $200 stay as Judge Laser had ordered. I'm asking that it be changed today, that he be allowed to bond out on the condition that he would pay to the Sheriff's Office within 7 days the full $200. And then he is, he is not on probation, but he would be ordered by this court to continue paying $100 a month towards his fines.
What says the state?
Yeah, I understand this is just a monetary situation, but this individual's never paid anything on these costs. The state will agree to this with the condition that upon his release, he must immediately report first to probation here, and then they will direct him, he's on reporting in Pulaski County, and they would make sure he then goes to Pulaski County, reports there, and then he would pay that $200 within 7 days. The state can live with that, Your Honor, if it's okay with the court.
So the bond arrangement would be as follows, that he make a bond will be $200 cash posting, but he will allow to be released with the agreement that he'll post the $200 within 7 days, and then report to probation, reporting to probation first here and then in Pulaski County, and continue to make regular monthly payments on his fines and obligations.
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will make that the order of the court. Mr. Wolf, did you understand what the arrangement is?
Yeah, I think so, Your Honor.
Your bond is $200 cash to post. But
Yes, sir.
the state has agreed at your attorney's request to allow you to be released immediately with the agreement, and you by seeking to be released, you are obligating yourself to pay that $200 within 7 days. That
Okay.
cash posting within 7 days, and that's to be posted with the Baxter County Sheriff's Office. Your next, as soon as you're released, your next obligation is to meet with the probation office here in Mountain Home. and then they will arrange for you to return to supervision in Pulaski County. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And once in Pulaski County, it is your obligation to get into full compliance with your probation and requirements there, and begin paying your obligations as previously ordered.
I got it, Your Honor.
All right. That'll be the order of the court.
Thanks, Your Honor.